Hi all you beautiful souls, it's Tan back with another astrology video, and today we're going to talk about the Scorpio rising or ascendant. They're the same things, and the Taurus descendant or 7th house or shadow side. They're the same things. So if you haven't watched my previous video where I explain what exactly a rising sign is, then I'm going to post a link up there. If you go right ahead and watch this one without having watched that one first, you might be a little confused unless you're already well versed in astrology, but I would recommend watching that first and then coming back here. So if you go to astro.com or Cafe Astrology and you get a chart that looks like this or this, on the left side you have ASC Ascendant and it has this symbol which is Scorpio, and on the right, the Descendant, you have this symbol which is Taurus, then you have a Scorpio rising. And for the purpose of this video, I'm going to use the word rising sign instead of Ascendant. Though I do tend to switch back and forth, but I'm going to try to use only one, and I'm going to try to use rising sign. I think I ate something pretty hot this morning, and has that ever happened to you? Like, you burn your own tongue and now it feels weird. Now you could be born at any time of the year, be in any sun sign of the zodiac, and have a Scorpio rising. Is not the same as your sun sign, okay? So you need a specific time that you were born in order to find out what your rising sign is. So if you have a Scorpio rising, then you have the planet Pluto and Mars, both of them, because they both rule Scorpio, ruling your chart and ruling your life's journey. And you also have a Scorpio personality. Now the rising sign is an indicator of your physical appearance. With a Scorpio rising, you tend to have very serious eyes, right? Like with the Libra eyes, it's sparkly and flirty. With the Gemini, it's mischievous. With the Cancer rising, it's watery. With the Scorpio rising, it's very serious eyes. And you might like to really look people in the eye when you talk to them, you know, just to kind of get your point across, or to kind of see between the lines, read between the lines of what people are trying to say. You have kind of sharp facial features. I can't really explain it, but sharp and a little bit striking, but not in a weird way. Like, a lot of them are actually very beautiful and very handsome, good looking, sexy, but it's like the features themselves, like the nose is sharp, the eyes are sharp, the lips are sharp, you know what I mean. The eyebrows are very sharp, kind of like cutting facial features. So I like to use the analogy of wearing glasses, because the rising sign is how you see the world and how the world sees you. So with the Scorpio rising, you tend to wear glasses, which has a lens filter. The color, of course, I'm gonna say black. Why do Scorpio risings see the world in black? Because a Scorpio rising tends to see the world for what it really is, but in a more kind of the glass is half empty kind of approach. So you're very skeptical when you're first approaching new situations, and you see the world through a sense of skepticism, you know? If this person is being nice to you, you're kind of thinking, let's say you meet someone for the first time and they're being nice to you, you're kind of thinking, what do they want from me? Yeah, and the reason why Scorpio rising does this is because you don't want to be taken advantage of, right? You're protecting yourself. You don't want to be walked over. So that's another reason why you also want to be seen as the color black. You don't want to be clear, you don't want to be see-through, you don't want people to really know the inner you that easily. So you kind of come across as maybe like you don't want to say too much, you're very cautious with what you say, you only say things on the surface. But however, when you really get to know a Scorpio rising person, and when they really kind of opened up a little bit more, they tend to talk a lot about taboo things. They start to take out, you know, whatever's in their head, whatever's in their heart, and they pour it out. Sex, taboo subjects, psychology, mysticism. They talk, they communicate all these things.
I know that you got, you know, those scenes were intense, those scenes were physical. You really got hurt, right?
I think I felt
a sense of duty that I wanted to give truth to such a complicated story, and I wanted it to be incredibly real for the audience. And so I got lost in it, and I threw myself into it to the point where I would come home at night with, you know, bruises and really sore. I mean, he would grab me and really, and Alexander did not mean to do this. It was just, and I would never tell him that he was hurting me because I wanted him to commit to the scenes so that then when people watch them as an audience, they go, oh, I can feel that somehow this is real. And that was important to me because the storyline is about domestic abuse, and that's a very, very important, serious, relevant subject right now.
It was intense. It was amazing to watch. If you haven't seen it, yeah, she's in a dysfunctional relationship. just.
So the other analogy that I like to use with rising signs is the chick hatching from the egg. Yes, because the rising sign develops the moment you come out of your mother's womb, okay, all the way until you're like 8 months to 1 year old. Just like the chick first coming out of the egg. How does the chick hatch from the egg? What is their first approach to the world? Is the rising sign, and you kind of adopt this attitude and use the rising sign when you approach any new situation that happens in your life. So as a Scorpio rising chick, you come out of the shell very similar to a Cancer rising chick, where you're very cautious about approaching the world, but you're better at hiding it. You hide it with your pride. So you can come across as being very prideful, but actually you're being cautious. Do you see what I mean? You're also more likely than the Cancer rising chick to take risk. For example, you might feel that this shell is gonna cut me, but I need to come out, so I'm just gonna plow on through. So you can be kind of an extreme in that sense. Now, the Scorpio rising, as a Scorpio rising, you can approach the world with a very set belief system. And this belief system usually comes from things that happen early on in your childhood, something that you kind of, when something good or something bad happens to you in childhood, you keep it locked deep inside and it becomes a set of beliefs. And you can be very stubborn in a way that you don't want to change the things that you believe in. Now, if you believe in something that is totally useful for you, useful for other people, and out of love and compassion, then that's great, because you always have, you always believe in love and compassion. But if you are Scorpio rising who believes in things like, people are bad or people are out there to get you because of something that happens in childhood, you're going to carry this with you for the rest of your life, and it's going to be really hard for anybody to change your mind and tell you, hey, people aren't all bad. It's really hard to change a Scorpio rising person's mind. Like, if that chick is coming out of the shell, and let's say the shell cuts through the skin of the baby chick, that baby chick is going to carry that scar with them forever, and they're going to think that every single shell that they first approach in their life is out there to cut them, when that's kind of not true. You also, because the other planet that rules Scorpio is Mars, you can also come across as being confident. Sometimes you are really confident, but a lot of times it's coming from pride and self-protection. But I feel like I'm being very negative about Scorpio risings. I don't mean to be. Jim Carrey has a Scorpio rising, and he's really funny.
How's it going? Good. I just wanted to see what would happen if you stayed until they got tired. Usually people sit down during the biggest part of the applause.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So I thought I would see what that's like, that space. I used to be a guy who was experiencing the world, and now I feel like the world and the universe experiencing a guy.
I think we
There's
got a
kind of
little
been a
taste
shift.
of that just a moment ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
And does the beard have anything to do with that?
Well, here's the thing. The beard, yes. Everywhere I go, people talk about the beard. They go, what are you doing? Why are you growing a beard? Why are you growing a beard? It's like they can't really think about anything else. It's just not, you know, cohesive. There's something different about me, and it's that damn beard. And wherever I show up, it becomes the story, you know?
Right.
It's a bigger star than me at this point.
Mm-hmm. And is that good?
It has its own Twitter.
It does?
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. Thank God it likes me.
Maybe it'll be president one day, you know?
Exactly. Well,
That's the
anything
first
could happen
step.
now, right? But yeah, it's just weird. And I always say it's the question is not why are you growing a beard. The question is why am I growing a beard and still shaving my balls? That's the word. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. No, you're right. It really
doesn't.
It really
It doesn't make any sense at all. I think it's like a balance thing, you know? It's like, you know, if I'm shaved down and then I got to do this, you know? So if I ever shave my face again, you'll know.
Where it went.
Here's a
So now let's talk about the 7th house, your partnerships and your shadow side, which is the Scorpio rising tends to attract similar partners, and that is a very Taurus-like person. So they're not necessarily going to have a sun in Taurus, though they could have, but they're going to have a very Taurus flavor to them. So the Scorpio rising person is really looking for someone who is, first of all, good looking. They don't like sloppy looking people. They also like somebody who seems like they are sincere, trustworthy, and super, 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 super loyal. Because the Scorpio rising really values loyalty, and they're looking for that in the other person. With all those things that you're looking for, you often get a partner who is also going to be pretty stubborn as you are, and you're gonna butt heads a lot, all right? So an imagined conversation that might be going on with the Scorpio rising and a Taurus-like partner is probably gonna be something like the Scorpio rising might say, hey baby, so you're back from your shopping, what's your buy today? And the Taurus-like partner might say, oh, I bought this, you know, new pen. And the Scorpio rising might say, how much did that cost you? And the Taurus partner might say, it's about $100, but it's like a really good pen. It's like super good quality. I can probably use it for the rest of my life. And the Scorpio rising is probably gonna freak out and be like, it's a pen. So the Taurus-like partner can really bring out this kind of controlling and a little bit of a stingy kind of side of the Scorpio rising person, because the Taurus partner is also pretty stingy and controlling and possessive. So they're gonna really bring this out in each other, and they're gonna butt heads a lot concerning issues of like possessiveness, jealousy, control, all these things. And as I always say in my rising sign videos, that the only way to really accept your shadow side is to not be in a relationship and have someone be like, shine a mirror in the back of your head and be like, hey, look, you got this thing in the back of your head that you never noticed you had. Nobody likes people to show them their own faults, to show them their own shadows, right? So the best way to approach it is by doing shadow work by yourself before you get into a relationship. If a Scorpio rising person is able to accept their own controlling nature, their own possessive nature, and kind of just tone it down a little bit and give their partner a bit of freedom, then that's gonna bring out the part of them that is all about true love, right? Because true love is not about putting the other person in a cage and wanting them to do what you want and wanting them to, and not believing in their ability to be loyal when you are searching for a loyal person, but then when you get a loyal person, you don't even believe that they're loyal because you don't have that trust in you. It's not really love. So if a Scorpio rising can work through their own, can do shadow work before they get into a relationship and become a whole person and accept themselves for all that they are, then they can really be with a partner who is also wholesome. And then two whole people come together and just be in a very super loyal, super committed relationship. that's my take on the Scorpio rising. I hope it didn't rub any Scorpio risings the wrong way. I really do think it's a very interesting rising sign, probably one of the most interesting rising signs of all. Just Scorpio is just a very, very deep sign in general, and you know, yeah. So if you like this kind of a content and you haven't yet subscribed, then please hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications. If you are Scorpio rising, then leave a comment below and let me know what it's like to be a Scorpio rising. I would like to hear all about your experiences. Okay guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.